Hello all you beautiful people, how you guys doing? So for today's video, we're going to be looking at the Honkai Star Rail animated short Rondo Across the Countless Kalpas. I watched this video on stream, absolutely loved it. One of my favorite Honkai Star Rail like PVs, animated shorts, whatever. And I think there's a lot to unpack here. A lot of this like hidden messages, hidden lore, like a bunch to analyze. So I thought it'd be fun to sit down and analyze it fully, thoroughly. Let's get straight into it. Let's have some fun here. First thing I actually want to highlight is this. This looks very new. MiHoYo anime. This seems to be from the MiHoYo anime division. What does that mean? Remember the Genshin anime that got announced like, I think it was like 1 or 2 years back now? The fact that they have a whole division called the MiHoYo anime division makes me pretty confident that, hey, we might see something from the Genshin anime soon. And what we see from this video could be like the potential of what the MiHoYo, the Genshin anime is gonna be like, which is amazing because this looks amazing.
The remembrance is no different than the sea.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there first. So one thing that this PV is all about is like advantage and disadvantage. It'll be about two characters, Acheron and Black Swan. When one character thinks they're in control, but they're actually not. I love how this PV starts with this red sea, right? This red sea with Black Swan talking about the remembrance, talking about how it's like the sea, right? What's really cool about this, and we'll get into it later, is this Red Sea is very kind of emblematic of actually Acheron. So I love how this PV starts with Acheron. Even though Black Swan is introducing this idea and this kind of perspective is coming from Black Swan, I love that like visually, this is all Acheron's visuals, right? This blood red sea, right? Also going into another theme about this being like, kind of the hunt, the kind of like finality of life, right? A blood red sea. Just starting off, like, it just starts out really, really good. Alright, let's talk about positioning here. Let's talk about positioning in that scene, right? I love how this scene starts. Again, it's all about the positioning, and it's all about what you can tell from the faces. So, Black Swan right now is currently standing, and Acheron is sitting, right? It really does show you this aspect of just, like, one above the other, you know, advantage and disadvantage. Right now, Black Swan is above Acheron because she's currently standing, and if you look at her face, right, it's a little bit conniving. You can tell that she wants something out of her. You can tell her that, like, you know, she has ulterior motives, right? You can very clearly tell that from the face. The animators did an amazing job showing that. And then you go to Acheron, and it's not quite the exact opposite. It's more like uninterested, unfocused, being like whatever. Her movements are very just like simple, like even when she's saying no, it's very like simple, like uncaring kind of thing like that. So it gives you this idea of just like, even though Black Swan right now is kind of in the advantageous position, being above Acheron, that doesn't matter to her. And we're going to kind of see that as this PV goes on. This is just a little taste of it, but it's still already so amazing. I just want to say, just off the front, this dance is absolutely beautiful. Animated absolutely beautifully. The anime team is going crazy. So crazy. Okay, let's focus on that. Let's focus on that. Okay. Great scene, by the way. Great scene. So, again, what I want to focus on is kind of the intention and the movements here. So continuously, we'll focus on Acheron first. Acheron, very straight face, not paying attention, like, it's almost like she doesn't care in a certain way, right? She's kind of staying still. Her movements aren't really that interesting or very focused. Compare that to Black Swan, right? Compare that to Black Swan constantly moving around her, right? If you're looking at the positionings here again, Acheron is kind of just staying in one place, while Black Swan is moving all the way around her, trying to get like a complete full, like, because what's going on here? She's trying to get a complete full understanding of her, trying to figure out what's going on. These purple things here, I think they're like remembrance powers of her trying to kind of invade Acheron's mind and trying to see her memories, because that's her goal ultimately. Black Swan's goal is to see what happened with Duke Inferno, so she's going inside her memories, trying to figure that out, and I believe that's what this kind of purple dust is. But notice that once this happens, right, and this is gonna be crazy, once Black Swan goes on the attack, right, that's what gets Acheron's attention. Once she tries to try something, right, then she knows, like, you know, when to pay attention. Now she's focused, and she makes her first kind of big movement there, right? So theoretically, if Acheron kind of kept as she was, kind of like this standstill kind of moment, then whatever Black Swan was doing here would have worked, and she would have gotten inside her memories, which, you know, we all know who watched this PV, that she's going to do that later. And funny enough, Acheron's trying to stop her from doing that, because it's like an idea of just like, you don't want that to happen. Like, you don't understand what you're trying to get here, right? And we'll see that a bit later. So Acheron avoiding this is actually, she's trying to help Black Swan here, because Black Swan really does not know what she's getting herself into, and it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. So, and we'll see this happening pretty often here with like Black Swan trying to get what she wants with the whole memories thing, and then that's when Acheron kind of like makes her move.
Is not the only one who hunts.
Alright, so let me focus on that one for a little bit. That one's more like the voice lines, right? Same concept, right? So Black Swan is a little bit more arrogant here. Black Swan's arrogance is really something to focus on. And she talks about being on the hunt, right? And it's like, oh, not only the Galaxy Rangers are on the hunt, because she is currently on the hunt right now. And again, she thinks she has an advantage here.
Is not the only one who hunts.
And then, you know, like, that's the thing. As soon as she makes that comment, she retreats, right? Acheron retreats, showing that no, you are not on the hunt. You are not on the hunt at all, because Acheron herself is not trying to be on the hunt. Once you start to get on the hunt, like, you have no hope. Right, that's the idea here, is that you have no hope. You think you have the advantage right now, but that's because Acheron is letting you have the advantage right now. So you're kind of building up this, Black Swan's kind of building up this arrogance, almost like an ego, kind of, right? Because she does have an advantageous situation going on right here, but she's just not being aware of the subtleties that Acheron is doing right now. As soon as Black Swan tries to kind of get close, right, trying to get the thing that she wants, she retreats away. So even though Acheron seems to be uncaring, and we'll go into this in this scene right here as well, this is a great visual right here, right? Usually in a dance routine, when someone does something like this, sometimes we'll have the characters kind of look at each other, because this is like a perfect moment for them to look at each other. But again, we have Acheron here in this like more straightforward, more kind of like stoic, like, if you're doing like a dance move, going all the way into it, putting your head back all the way, is, I think, actually the correct way to do it. You know, please do correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know anything about dance or anything like that. But I love how she's so focused on like the dance aspect that she's not paying a mind to what Black Swan is kind of trying to do to her right now, until she actually makes a move, and then she's just like locked on.
This game, everyone lies.
Alright, there it is again. Did you catch it? There it is again. Did you catch it? So this is her going on the attack. She makes her assumption about her, thinking she's going for the Watchmaker's legacy. She may be right, she may be wrong, but here she goes on the attack again, right? I think the kiss on the hand is more of a distraction, right? I think what the reality is this, again, these purple strings right here, trying to get a grasp at her memories, and then, you know, Acheron can see this, right? She's doing her normal stoic thing, but she's paying attention, right? She's paying attention. Like this, like the kissing of the arm, that's, you know, that could be a common dance move, but the subtle movement of her hand with activating her like purple strings here is obviously her trying to activate her remembrance powers. And then, boom, Acheron pulls away. She's not gonna give her a moment. She's not gonna give her an opportunity. Like, even though she seems stoic, even though she seems uninterested, even though it seems like she's not really paying attention and being a little bit more aloof, because Acheron is a very aloof character, right? She is still there. She is still locked in 100%. And I like that movement too. Did you notice that movement? It's her first movement that isn't kind of very subtle. It's the first Black Swan movement when she isn't subtle at all, right? It's almost she was like unprepared for what she did, and this is more like a reflex from Black Swan. Lost the advantage right here, and again, positioning, right? Check the positioning here. Now Acheron's on top, right? Acheron's on top, Black Swan is below. She had the advantage, right? She went on the attack. But the thing is, Acheron was ready to go. She was ready to go. She is always locked in, ready. And then, losing the advantage, she tries to get it back in a very, very desperate play. But these desperate plays are going to keep happening, and it's going to be her ultimate downfall here. So trying to take back control, right? A lot more rough movements here. Oh, there's the avoiding again. Do you guys see that again? I'm not gonna focus on it as hard every single time, but I think it is really cool whenever you see it. Is that every single time, right? There's the strings, missed, and she's already moving to the other side. There happened the strings, and then she's already moving to the other side. The strings happened back here as well. I kind of like didn't focus on it because the camera work didn't focus on it at all. But the strings happened again, and she just straight up goes off screen. She just straight up goes off screen. It's so funny because, again, I love this idea that Black Swan thinks she's going on this hunt right now, and she thinks she has the advantage, but she's not paying attention to the fact that she has striked, right? She has striked multiple times and keeps missing her strikes over and over and over and over and over and over again while trying to keep up this whole like dance thing going on right here. But you know, again, this idea that Black Swan thinks she has the advantage, but the reality is Acheron has been an advantage the whole entire time. Or rather, she will not lose her advantage.
What have you done?
Alright, and now this is the big moment, right? I really, really, really want to focus on this because this is as close as they get, right? They get very, very close in this scene. So Black Swan figuring out that she can't use subtle moments, right? Like subtle attacks to try and get Acheron. She literally has to put her in a grip, right? Gripping her hands, gripping her shoulder. She has to get her in a grip because her subtle attacks aren't working. So she just goes straight for it. And we can see that in the PV too. The only attack that works is one where she is literally straightforward with it, right? The one that actually works is that she directly asks Acheron what happened. It's so... Wait, let's play it for a little bit again.
He and his children won't be attending. What have you done?
Like, I love that so much. The subtle attacks will not work. Her normal method of probably doing this, right, using those purple strings will not work. So she has to use them in tandem, right? I also love how her hair kind of has these, like, strings as well. Maybe that's emblematic of also her powers, or at least symbolic of it. But the fact that she needs to take the most basic, the most direct route, she can't use her sly, conniving ways, she can't use her normal methods, she can't use her own advantages against Acheron, so she has to use the bare bones basic way to figure something out, which is literally asking what happened, to try and get some semblance of what she wants to get, and turns out, it's seemingly that it actually works.
Beautiful ranger.
Love the visual, by the way, going into her eyes. And then we can see kind of what happened. We see Dirk Inferno's horn kind of torn apart, right? I remember the members of the Annihilation Gang, but I can't tell who is who right now. If anybody wants to post in the comments for me, I just want to focus on Acheron. And of course, we see Acheron right here. And the best part, right? Duke Inferno's monocle is a perfect visual to kind of like show us what's really going on here with seeing the kind of reverse Acheron. I don't know what they call it in lore. I'm sure they're gonna have a name of it in the lore. I don't know what it is yet, but like the kind of, you know, the white and red Acheron, the reverse Acheron, anti-Acheron. I don't even know what you want to call it, but we get a good glimpse of that, a really good glimpse of that, because I think how they do it well is like maybe at least for, because we know of course as a player base that she has this different form that has like the flowers, that has a more red motif, but like maybe for what Black Swan is seeing right now, she's only seeing it through the monocle. She's only seeing this kind of Acheron through the monocle, so she may not even tell this is like almost like a different being or different persona. Personally, I think it's probably more of a different persona, but
Excuse me. Are you asking me?
and there it is, right? She gets a little bit of an advantage, right? She gets a tiny, tiny bit of what she wants. She wanted to know what happened to Duke Inferno, and she just gets the tiniest, tiniest advantage that she had to make a desperate play for, right? She had to make the most desperate play possible. None of her subtleties were working. She had to make a crazy desperate play, absolutely locking Acheron down, right? And then directly having to ask her, and then still peering into her memories. And then, right, this is probably what Acheron was trying to protect her from. So what we have here is potentially what Acheron was trying to keep her safe of, right? She is now peering into the void itself. She is peering into an emanator of nihility, right? Adventuring talked to us about it before, that she's an emanator, and, you know, people have pretty much figured out that she is probably an emanator for nihility. And it's just like, You are peering into the nihility, into the void itself, right? And that ain't gonna be good. And we are going to see the results of that. She has made a mistake going on this hunt. And it immediately changes, right? As soon as Acheron kind of takes advantage here, and it's the other Acheron as well, right? We can see the flowers, right? We can see the red. But she didn't. She only realizes that when it's way too late, right? Such a good visual. This visual is insane. Something I want to make note of earlier, right? Back when Black Swan had the advantage, again, it's all about the advantage, and it's all about the advantage, and it's all about like the motions, right? I said that so many times right now. Back when Black Swan had the advantage here, and she was kind of doing her thing, Acheron was stoic. Once Acheron takes the advantage, Black Swan is in freaking distress. Absolutely distress right now, right? About what she's seeing, about what's kind of happening to her. Like, I think, oh, and some of these visuals are insane, by the way. We'll go into some of these visuals, but they are so good right now. Back when Acheron was kind of being led in the dance, even if they were more kind of erratic movements, she was always flowing into it, right? She was always kind of ready to go and kind of very flowing into it, very much into it, moving with it. But Black Swan can't handle this. She cannot handle what Acheron is capable of. Like, all her movements are very push forward. She's not flowing into it at all. She cannot handle and she cannot take this. And let's talk about these visuals, right? Again, talking about the nihility, talking about, like, death, right? Check this out. I'm still gonna get that snapshot again, right? Oh, the thing with her head right here, like, potentially, I'm not sure all the powers that Acheron could be capable of, but Black Swan could be experiencing this. Literally could be experiencing. Oh my gosh, these visuals are so good, right? What are these visuals right here? Feathers, right? Feathers from Black Swan. Black feathers, guys. We got black feathers here. She could be experiencing death right now. That theoretically could be happening. While a dance is kind of going on in the real world, what she is experiencing through looking through Acheron's head, looking through Acheron's past, right, is death. Death and destruction. Maybe even her own, right? Look at her head. With all the black feathers here, all the Black Swan feathers here, right? Because these are the things that Acheron has done, right? She could be experiencing, because what is that, right? What is she looking for? She is looking for memories. And it's just like, oh yeah, these are the memories of Acheron, taking people out. And she is probably experiencing that firsthand, how Acheron has taken people out in the past. And she cannot handle it, right? Love these visuals, by the way. Again, kind of calls back to when she was dancing with Acheron here, because Acheron's still with the dance, and if like the roles were reversed here. Let's say Black Swan was doing this pose with her hand out, Acheron would be doing the same thing. When Black Swan was leading, Acheron was very into it, but Black Swan can't handle it when Acheron takes the lead, and it's just amazing. Love the visuals here, right? We got the predator-prey situation here. Acheron is the snake while Black Swan is the bird. And then, yeah, just everything. All the visuals are gushing out, absolutely gushing out, exploding into birds. Absolutely love it. Like, also the animation here, so on point. So visually stunning. I just want to take a point to focus on that. That was great too, if you noticed that, right? Like, the fact that she was, once she threw her, right, she was still recoiling, right? We gotta think about, like, this happening in real life, and then what's happening, like, visually, maybe in, like, Black Swan's head, right? Tossing her over, she does not come back. She has to, like, fling away all these other things, and then come back to her, and take it back, and I think that's just great. Oh, but it's absolutely exploding. I want to focus on that a little bit, too. Hold on. I know I'm pausing a lot, but this is just so beautiful. So watch the movements here with her feet, with Black Swan's feet. Black Swan is not ready for these movements, right? Look at those feet steps. They are not elegant. They are not, they're not. There's no like smoothness of motion. It's almost hurrying, kind of steadying. It's literally when somebody pulls you and your feet are not ready for that, so they move in very strange and erratic ways, and that is really what's going on here. She is not ready for these movements. They're weird and erratic. She's just being pushed and flung. She's literally being flung along, and almost like a suplex motion there too. And then all these visuals are absolutely insane, right? Again, going into like what is this, guys? Like, you know what this is, ladies and gentlemen? This is a swan skeleton. I'm pretty sure. I will see a better visual of it later, so I'll keep it going. But like, yeah, here it is, right here, right? This is a literal swan skeleton, guys. I can't even begin to think about kind of what this means right now. I think my personal interpretation is maybe she could even see herself dying, or her potential death in the future, right? Or maybe how she may die if she keeps trying, right? It's like if you keep pushing too hard, this is gonna be you, right? That's kind of the idea here, I think, is if you keep pushing too hard, this is gonna be you. Or she's looking at all the memories, looking into the void, and especially to somebody who's all about the remembrance, right? Think about what the remembrance means. It's about remembering things. What do you remember about the void? You can keep going forever and find nothing. That's what the void is, right? That's what nihility is. It's absolute nothingness, right? So you can search the history and you can search your remembrance all you want to, but all you're gonna find is probably this, right? Probably death, and at best you find nothing, just infinite nothingness, which is like almost the absolutely perfect counter to what Black Swan is and what Black Swan is doing. Just the idea of absolute nothingness is potentially even tearing her apart, or maybe potentially she could be seeing her own death, and it's absolutely insane. I love the blood spatter here. And then this again, right? The predator prey, right? Because in the beginning, don't forget Black Swan Black Swan is like, oh, she can go on the hunt too, thinking that she's going on the hunt. And like in reality, that's what she thought she was doing. She was going on the hunt. But once she takes a peer into Acheron's head, it's like, no, 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 no. This is you, right? This is Acheron right here, and this is her. She thought she was on the hunt, and it's just like, no, 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 no. Acheron didn't even try to go on a hunt until right now. Love, again, all these visuals. Predator and prey, circle of life. So good right now. So good right now. And I think that was even a double attack here, right? Going into the whole thing of like the two Acherons, right? So maybe the kind of like multi-attack kind of situation, right? Shark against the fish, got the spider web, got the Venus flytrap. Again, bunch of predator and prey stuff, all ending in a black hole, right? Again, talking about the infinite nothingness, talking about the nihility. What does it all lead to, right? What if you look back in the history, if you try to look back in the memories, what does it all lead back to? It all leads back to predator and prey, hunting, right? Hunting, taking things out, all leading to death, and all eventually leading to nothingness. That's what you're looking at. Trying to find some history, trying to find some memories. Guess what? What you peered into? You peered into the void. You effed up. You effed up, Black Swan. That's what you peered into. And she can't handle it, right? She can't take it. Her whole, like, visually, well, not visually, but like aesthetically, right? Aesthetically, it's literally tearing her apart, right? And the thing is, all of this was caused by just a little peek. She didn't even get to see the whole of the battle. She kind of just saw the ending of the battle, right? She's trying to wonder, oh, what happened? How'd you kill Duke Inferno? And then the line that she gives is so chilling, considering what came up next.
Excuse me. Are you asking me?
She said, "Are you asking me?" Right? That's all. It was not even a question. It was not even a threat. It was not even a question. She was just wondering, "Oh, are you asking me?" Right? Like a little turn towards Black Swan. This is all it was, right? All it was a little turn towards her, and she let her peer into a little bit. That's all this was, right? It was just a little bit, and it gave her PTSD. It gave her PTSD of something she's never seen before. She saw everything, all going down to the void, and she cannot take it. She cannot handle it. So beautiful. So fantastic, right? And again, ending off the dance with this, because that's what it's always been at the end of the day. It was always Acheron on top, It was always Black Swan at a disadvantage from the beginning. From the beginning, even though visually it started with her sitting down and her standing up, this is what it's always been at the end of the day. It's just that Black Swan didn't realize that. And then the faces have completely changed, right? I love the focus on the face, right? It's super stark contrast to how it started, right? It's like the one meme, how it's going, like how it was going versus how it's going now, kind of thing like that, right? Like this is how she started. This is how she thought it was gonna be, right? But then reality hit her like a truck right here, and this is how it always was from the beginning. She just couldn't realize it. Amazing stuff. And the best part, Acheron's been the same the whole entire time. That's the best part. That's my favorite part about this, is that she herself has not changed from the beginning. She has always kept this stoic, straightforward face. She has not changed. She was always ready to go. She was always on the hunt, right? You cannot hunt the hunter, especially when you are the prey. You cannot hunt the hunter, and she has stayed consistent. Black Swan, on the other hand, she was not prepared for this. She was biting off more than she can chew, literally, right? Going back to that predator-prey kind of like ideas there. She was biting off a lot more than she can chew.
The Annihilation Gang.
Love that too, that she just doesn't remember. I think it's great. You know, kind of going into this idea that, like, you know, that's kind of what the nihility is, and that's maybe why she's suffering from memory loss, because that's kind of what the nihility is. Like, what are memories to the void? What are memories to, like, nihility, to nothingness? It's just infinite nothingness. It's just nothing, right? Again, real quick as she finishes her dialogue here. Absolutely fantastic dialogue. Again, positioning matters, right? Positioning matters. From this angle, right? Acheron's up here. If the person who is seeing the visual right here, if they were standing, it would be a little bit different. Clearly the visual right here is from the ground, right? Again, positioning matters a lot. Acheron is standing compared to how she was before when she was sitting. Whoever is on this camera angle, since we have the visual, the audio of Black Swan, you could see that as Black Swan speaking. Black Swan is on the ground. So Black Swan in this video is ending up even lower than how Acheron started, right? That's the results of all this, is that this video started with Black Swan standing, Acheron sitting down, and then they're doing the whole thing, and it's ending with, theoretically, what they're trying to show us here is Black Swan literally on the ground while Acheron is standing with a gigantic shadow right here. Absolutely gigantic shadow. Because that's how it's always been. She brought her down even lower than Acheron herself started. It was amazing. It's amazing.
Has a past, but for some, their past is a silent abyss.
Past is a silent abyss.
Who drowned in it.
Filled with those who drowned in it. So a great visual here for those who know some things. So obviously we see these lines right here, obviously meant to be bloodlines. There's also the idea of a string of fate. I know it's in a lot of Japanese kind of like lore things, this whole like string of fate, right? I think that's also the visual that they wanted to show us here about, you know, this was their fate, right? This was their fate. This theoretically could have been her fate if she kept pushing. Right? This theoretically could have been Black Swan's fate if she kept pushing. This was the fate of the Annihilation Gang, or at least Duke Inferno, right? These were the fate of all these people. Fate is another big thing. Absolutely amazing. And then I love how when it when it goes to Black Swan's PV, this is how she sees Acheron. This is how she sees everybody after spending a little bit of time with Acheron, right? A blood red sky with all these people falling, all these strings of fate here, and then Black Swan herself is a silhouette with a gigantic shadow. But then when it goes to Acheron, and this is her, like, point of view, it's like normal. She's just fine. She's normal. It's just like, oh, this is just how it is. This is just how she is. Just her trying to remember. I love it.
Oh, those guys.
And now she remembers. Fantastic. Whew. Amazing. Beautiful. Fantastic. Acheron, one of my favorite characters. Absolutely amazing. I love that so much. It's just great. It's great. I love her so much. We're not quite done yet. We're not quite done yet. Absolutely. I will say, though, absolutely amazing PV, super fantastic, 10 out of 10, loved it so much. We're not quite done yet, because if we go into the description here, if you would allow me. It's a lot of words, right? It's a lot of words. Check out the video yourself because it is a text blurb. But I will read it out to you. This is kind of my first time reading it. I didn't know this whole thing was here, but we were going to read it for the first time. The dual planets were intertwined on each other's tragic destiny, dancing in an eternal rondo around the pitch black great sun. You know, we got visuals there of how they were dancing, right? The dual planets intertwined, tragic destiny, dancing, eternal rondo, right? In the beginning, one of the planets gave rise to humans. These people looked down and named the land below Izumo. These people looked up and named the world above Takamagahara. One day, inscribed in the annals, the Yaoyorozu no Kami descended from Tatemagahara. These demonic beasts, named Kami, overturned the skies, burned the rivers and oceans, shattered the land. The people realized in horror that they were not an invasion for rulership, dominance, or plunder. The evil Kami came only to kill. I think that's just some great relations here. So Kami, obviously meaning God, I believe in Japanese. For what I know, I do believe the Yaoyorozu no Kami is like the 8 million gods. I believe in Shinto. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. And the interesting thing about the 8 million gods is that it's not saying that there are 8 million gods. It's saying that there's infinite gods, right? I think that's kind of the idea with the concept in the Shinto religion, is like the idea of like the infinite gods, right? Going into nihility. It's nihility, the void. It's just infinite nothingness. I think, again, we have this idea of infinity here with the Yaoyorozu no Kami of like infinite gods, right? You take the 8 and you put it sideways, you got infinity. As the planet stood on the brink of death, Izumo embarked on the Kami-slaying journey, exhausting the might of the entire country to slay the calamity, the sovereign of revelation, and forging the very first edict edge using its bestial body. Giving the Kami a taste of their own medicine, the wielder of these swords can recite the mantra contained within the blade to master the divine power of the Takamagahara, and to use it to combat the evil Kami and save the masses. From then on, Izumo started its long and arduous crusade, exchanging inordinate lives lost for the fall of one Kami after another, shattering countless mortal blades to forge the 12 Sentinels. In the merciless fight for survival, Izumo used the might of the Edict Edges to light up the uncivilized world of darkness in less than 10 amber eras. Building cities of dazzling neon lights, the distant Takama Divine Realm, once so far away, became close within their reach. Yet history suddenly stops there. The existence of the two planets instantly evaporated, disappearing into nothingness. Nowadays, the past border planet Izumo can only be gleaned from the scattered whispers of the universe. Academics hold different views regarding its disappearance, but none can solve the mystery. Izumo's history should have been a long-flowing river, but it was severed in one cut. And its past and future voided, right? There you go. Voided on emptiness other shore. Did it never exist, or was it more than a fabricated story? Did its histories never occur and ran aground on the beach of reverse causation? Was it yet another appealing experiment by Dr. Primitive, or was it a sign of the veracity returning from the end of the cosmos? Only the pitch-black great sun knows the answer, yet they remain silent, never speaking. Because everything that had happened will one day regress into the end. Everything that has ended is guaranteed to happen again. The universe undergoes eternal recurrence under their shadow, and Izumo is nothing more than a footnote for an ellipsis. Ooh, chilling stuff. I can't even begin to grasp what the story makers were kind of trying to say here, but I think we could take a little bit. I think the most important thing that I personally want to focus on is the pitch black great sun. I've seen from the live stream that they did that the pitch black sun could be, right? Theoretically, the pitch black sun could be like the black hole kind of visual. Could theoretically be the black hole visual. Where'd it go? I forgot what it was. I forgot where it was. It's somewhere around here. Is it after this one? There we go. This could be the pitch black sun, right? Or the pitch black sun could be the thing we see behind Acheron when she's doing her ultimate, right? But I'm gonna go with that for a little bit, right? The pitch black sun knows the answer. In the beginning, the dual planets were intertwined in each other's tragic destiny, dancing an eternal rondo around a pitch black great sun. I just thought about that, right? Maybe that could be some connection here too. Do you guys remember the beginning of the dance, right? The beginning of the dance where... No, wait, it wasn't this part, right? There's part of the... I remember part of the... Remember we were talking about it earlier? There's a part of the dance where she's kind of like dancing around... Yeah, here we go, right here, right? She's dancing around Acheron, right? She's doing her thing. She's dancing around Acheron while Acheron's just kind of like standing still, staying consistent until, you know, she sees her trying to do something and then she backs out. Maybe that's kind of what happened here, right? Maybe that's the idea that they're trying to tell us, is that the pitch black sun only knows the answer. Maybe the answer is that what ended everything, what ended this fight, was neither the humans nor the gods. It was neither Izumo or it was all the kami, the evil kami that came only to kill. What if what ended it all was this pitch black great sun, which is nothingness, which is the void? Something that could definitely end a great battle like this is a black hole, right? The void itself sucking it up, and it's just like, you thought you were, like, the communists thought they had the advantage, right? They had great powers over the humans. The humans thought they got an advantage, right? Because they created technology. They created these blades to destroy these gods, right? Each of them thought they had the advantage. But the true advantage lies with the pitch black great sun. Because at the end of the day, at the end of everything, what's always going to be there? Nothingness. What's always going to be there is absolute nothingness, the void. The void is always going to be there. And again, I love how it's calling back to this as well, because all this comes down to, you try to get the advantage, you try to get something, but you are not prepared. You think you have the advantage, but you do not. But that is going to be it for me, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you think I missed anything, please do leave it in the comments. There's so many things I didn't talk about, to be honest with you. Like the music, I barely even talked about like how the music, like undertones, like everything that's going on. And like so many of these other theoretical themes, or maybe a lot of the lore stuff. Some of the lore stuff I may have missed in this video. There's a lot of lore stuff in here if you keep looking. But super good short. Definitely take a look at it. Please do give it some views and some likes. Keep theorizing about it. Keep talking about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day. And peace out.